when God was angry and angels cried. Some people might remain silent, considering that the state of indifference is neutrality. But it is not easy to remain silent, neutral, or indifferent when fellow human beings are suffering from a disaster and calamity. This is the story of the drought-hit areas in Pakistan, the interior of Sindh, and most of Balochistan. The area of southern Punjab, Cholistan, is also suffering from a similar calamity. Death continues to knock on the door, while life continues on with a sluggish pace. God intended the human beings to be the best of his creations, and yet many look towards a hopeless future.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Naveed Iqbal, the Chairman for Friends of Pakistan and a member of the Association of Pakistani Physicians of North America, called APPNA, as well as a member of Human Development Foundation of North America. Both organizationally, from Friends of Pakistan, as well as at a personal level, it has been both a learning experience as well as a rewarding experience to put together this documentary and to be part of the delegation that APPNA and Human Development Foundation has put together. While Friends of Pakistan has focused on issues of public awareness about issues that are relevant and pertinent for the betterment of Pakistan, APPNA has a long history of setting some pioneering projects in Pakistan. APPNA is also the largest association of Pakistani professionals in North America, and Human Development Foundation in itself has initiated some pioneering projects related to primary health, primary education, as well as poverty alleviation in several areas in Pakistan. In this documentary, we would take you through the drought-hit areas in Sindh and Balochistan, show you the misery that the individuals living in these areas are going through, as well as highlight some of the activities of APPNA and Human Development Foundation, and appeal to you that together with you, we must act to do something to help our brothers and sisters who are suffering in Pakistan.
Karachi, the largest city of Pakistan, is full of life, lights, and prosperity, and blessed with the sweet breeze of the Arabian Sea. It is located not too far from the drought-hit areas in Pakistan, where there is darkness and millions of men, women, and children are struggling for their basic survival. Only a few hundred kilometers from Karachi, the scarcity of water becomes obvious. And as you reach the drought-hit areas of Thar and Balochistan, the shortage of water and the scorching heat makes that entire area look and feel like a living hell. The majestic area of Thar is 7,486 square miles, and together with Kohistan and Kachu, has a population of 1.3 million, living in approximately 2,600 human settlements. It borders with India. Balochistan is the largest province of Pakistan with the least population, with over 1 million severely affected by the drought. Some of the areas severely affected are Husdar, Haran, Chahi, Job, Loralai and Qila Saifullah.
My main object of coming over here is for a need assessment and immediate and long-term needs of the area. So I'll be working with the other friends to do the fact-finding and need assessment study and also find out different NGOs through which we can work. Our association has started doing fundraisings in the name of this severe drought we have, and once I go back and give my report to the association, we will inshallah quickly start channeling some money for the needy.
The main preoccupation for the people living in these areas is to obtain water for the basic survival of their animals and families. At times mules and at other times women and children have to pull a rope several hundred yards in scorching heat of 50 degrees centigrade to get a small bucket of water, which is less than what we might use to wash a few dishes in our kitchen. There has been no appreciable rain for the past several years in Thar area of Sindh, most of Balochistan and Cholistan. When it has rained, it is in the non-irrigation months, and the people living in these areas have scanty means of conserving the water. Meanwhile, the increasing population in these areas and poor water conservation management has dropped the water table to dangerously low levels, creating the severe drought, which, if not properly managed, will continue to get worse.
पानी की तकलीफ है तो यारी अति पानी की तकलीफ है साना जाती है टाको ना कराए ना दे ये तकलीफ है जी पानी री है.
The individuals living in the drought-hit areas depend for their livelihood on growing crops, fruits, rare livestock, and at times remittances from family members who work in larger cities. The major part of the economy depends on adequate and timely rainfall. Although both Thar and Balochistan are areas which are rich in natural resources such as oil, gas and granite, these have not been adequately explored. The individuals living in these areas have significant talent in other cottage industries, which if fully developed and supported may go a long way towards poverty alleviation. Corporate farming remains a yet unexplored option. In the absence of rain, there are very few resources for provision of water. Traditionally, 95% of the population lives below the poverty level. Due to the loss of basic livelihood as a result of lack of rain, over 70% of the population is under heavy debt. 10 million people are affected by the drought. Over 1 million people, each in Sindh and Balochistan, are severely affected, and 1 million have migrated. The lack of food has led to a lowering of resistance, leading to an increase in the rate of tuberculosis and other diseases, and in the very old and the very young, even death. 10% of the population of Thar is reported to be suffering from tuberculosis. The poor socio-economic conditions and the overall misery of the areas is directly related to the report of a father in Balochistan who tried to sell his daughter in order to buy enough food for the remaining 20 members of his family. Some of the reports of young girls being sold in Thar is also related to the same phenomenon. The thought of trying to understand the pain of the families who are forced to sell their young children is unbearable. These areas have reached this stage as a result of a collective failure. God must be angry today, and angels cry to see humanity suffer in this way. Where efforts are made, water can be obtained. Although efforts made without considering the sustainability of the project make the facility unusable. Like this tube well, which cannot function without the availability of diesel to run it. Recently, Association of Pakistani Physicians of North America, APPNA, and Human Development Foundation of North America, HDFNA, formed a delegation which surveyed the drought-hit areas in June 2000. Friends of Pakistan was invited to join the APPNA and HDFNA delegation.
In response to this drought situation in Pakistan this year, we will assess the immediate need for the relief work. Later on, we plan to start a long-term project under the guidance of Human Development Foundation of North America, which will consist of providing health, education, and poverty alleviation in these areas which are affected with this disaster.
All the vegetation in this area is lost, and it is natural disaster made worse due to lack of education and awareness about water conservation and poor management by several administrations and authorities over the past several decades. As human beings, it is their right to live with at least the basic facilities such as water and food. Education and appropriate health facilities are a luxury that have totally evaded the millions of individuals living in the drought-hit areas in Pakistan. If they can have water, seeds and fodder for their animals now, they will not need the ongoing outside help. And for achieving even the very basic goals in life, they have a long road ahead. In the midst of all the misery, these brave and proud people who for centuries have cut through and conquered mountains and resisted the most brutal invaders for centuries still dare to smile, desire to work, and pray for better days ahead. They have a majestic past, and with collective effort can have an equally glorious future. It is one thing to remain neutral and silent to lack of information, and a totally different phenomenon to look away from human misery despite all the knowledge. If we are to look away from the millions of suffering individuals today, God, with all His graciousness and blessings, will need no more justification in being angry at us. Children are the future of any society. They need our help.